Uh-oh. Ah, ah, ah. Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a home improvement podcast. My name is Al. You're my co-host, Jordan. Hey, Jordan.
Adam, you just said we're going live before we went live, and it reminded me of, do you remember when I used to censor these?
Yeah, what a waste of time that was.
It sure was. It was so much work.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to keep it, I guess we wanted to keep it clean so that more people would find it, but...
Then we realized no one's finding it anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, and the people that are, they're not bothered by that. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing pretty well. Another week has flown by, so excited for the weekend. What about you?
Yeah, usually around this time of year, I like to do something that you always sort of enjoy, I think, and that's me riffing on fall.
It's been a while.
We're getting very close. I think the official count, we're like 4 days away from the start of fall.
We've been talking about bonus episodes for after the podcast ends, and I know every October you'll be doing a riff on fall.
Riff on Fall solo cast, just me. It'd be about 15 minutes. A lot of giggling. No, Jordan, fall's in the air. It's a very pleasant time around here. It's high 50s today in Milwaukee. I'm feeling good about it. I woke up this morning. I made myself a pumpkin pancake. So that was pretty good. Kirsten as well. And I'm just getting into the season. Football, feeling good.
You got lots of decorations up already?
No, I'm not officially allowed to do that until the first day of fall, which is how I happen to know that it's 4 days away, because then I can get all the Halloween decor out. And,
that's funny.
Yeah, I like to,
So
I enjoy...
you have more Halloween decor than, fall?
Fall decor?
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before. I know that you have, seasonal decorations, like you have that duck that you dress up or something.
The Sherlock bird?
We have, Christmas and Halloween decorations,
okay.
and that's, that... Yeah, Sherlock bird. That's kind of, all we have is the Christmas and the Halloween. Do you have seasonal decorations?
So, Andrea, over the weekend, put up all of our fall decorations. It looks pretty nice. We've got, out front and by the front door, we've got a sign that says, "This way to the orchard, this way to the..."
Oh,
There's a scarecrow, there's a hay bale, and
how scary is that scarecrow?
Oh, it's not supposed to be scary.
Friendly. He's friendly, smiling.
He's friendly. Yeah, he's not keeping any birds away. That's for certain. And then, everything else is kind of like Happy Harvest or just orange fall leaves. We do have some Halloween stuff in the attic. And we've had Halloween parties before. I don't know if we'll have enough gumption to make the switch in October or whatever, but...
Okay, yeah. Well, you should definitely make the switch and get those decorations out of the attic, because I want to see some pictures of them. and I want to see that orchard sign. Send me a picture of that later.
I can send you a nice... Well,
you
don't have
always...
Snapchat, so I can do I was going to do a video for you.
Yeah, you're just going to have to text it to me, which I'm sure would be a lot harder than...
My phone doesn't have enough storage for that. That's the problem.
Ooh, wow, you should upgrade. You've always loved orchards, always been a passion of yours. Still kind of feeling that way, or not so much?
They just don't have them down here as much, so it's hard to get the fix, really. But, I would enjoy an orchard or two. I remember when you hate orchards? Is that a stance you're trying to make right now?
No, I just know you really like them.
Okay. I mean, I like them okay.
I remember some pictures. I remember you posted way back in the days of MySpace or something where you went to an orchard with some girls, of course. I mean, you didn't do anything without women.
I mean, yeah.
And you posted these pictures where you were having just the most fun I think you'd ever had in your life. I've never seen you laugh and have joy like that. So that's how I know you love orchards.
It's funny. I have not changed one bit since my early bowling trick days or the orchard days. I'm the same. I'm basically the same person.
You're a little bit more crotchety, I would say, but in general, that has remained. I remember when you were kind of weighing the pros and cons of moving from Michigan to Florida. You're like, yeah, on one hand, Orlando, I like Disney, there's good weather and so on, probably jobs and stuff. But on the other hand, there's orchards up here, so kind of a tough one.
Yeah, and it was just barely tipping the scales to come down here. So
yeah, it was hard. Well, glad we could talk about that. I feel like we've talked about orchards a dozen times, so good to keep that tradition alive. Jordan, I watched a Tim Allen thing last night.
You did?
Yeah, I told you about this.
What does that mean?
So there was this special, I believe it was on ABC, and it was cleverly called VOMO, which is a play on FOMO, vote or miss out, essentially. And it was hosted by Kevin Hart and Michelle Obama, two of the funniest comedians I know. And basically it was just like little skits and segments and kind of stand-up and celebrities sort of doing things that weren't especially funny, but they were maybe trying to be funny, all in the interest of getting people to vote.
You can see how those two things would align.
Indeed, they called it sort of bipartisan. I assure you, it was very much not. I see why they had to say that, but it felt very, sort of Hollywood liberal and so on. But that's okay with me. Tim Allen and Jay Leno were a part of this, so
wow.
And they went back to back. No,
I
didn't watch.
Were they the bipartisan part?
Probably Tim Allen's there because of that's sort of where they're cashing in on the bipartisan line. So I didn't watch the whole thing. I fast forwarded to first. I was just trying to find Tim. I didn't even know Jay Leno was in it, and then I saw Jay's big mug.
What a happy accident!
And then I had an accident in my pants. If you know what I mean.
Jeez. There's a joke about that later in this episode. So
Jay did about 45 seconds of stand-up. And he, of course, as you want to do with a voting special, he opened with a Harvey Weinstein joke,
classy.
which just killed. No, it didn't. It was weird. Nobody laughed.
So was there a studio audience for this?
There were people in the crowd, but
socially distanced in the crowd.
Of course, yeah. None of them were laughing at Jay's jokes. I'm assuming he did more jokes than what we got, but. Yeah, he opened with a Weinstein joke, and then he sort of launched into, he did a joke that was really bad, where it was Kanye West is getting 1% of the vote. Anytime you're getting 1% of the vote, that's less than 2% milk. And that was, the joke. He said he's in the milk categories.
Oh.
That's sort of Jay Leno humor.
That's why he's not on The Tonight Show anymore.
Yeah, so that was pretty bad. And then Tim Allen did a pre-recorded thing where he was basically just in his tool, kind of in his garage, I think he has at his house. And he was sort of the cranky, stern, irascible Tim Allen, just sort of ranting at the camera. He was funnier than Jay, though. He said some kind of funny stuff, and he looked great. He had a beard, and he came off better than Jay did. And it's always just good to see Tim Allen, looking good, looking healthy, out there, out and about, doing things, not saying anything super offensive or stupid. So that was good. And then I turned off VOMO and I watched episodes of Seinfeld. So that was kind of it for me. But I wanted to do my due diligence. The podcast is ending. Tim Allen's not always out there a ton, so I had to check it out, Jordan.
Well, before VOMO came on, you weren't going to vote, and now you are, so that's positive in a couple of ways, So you got to see Tim Allen, and now you're going to vote. I would like to see at least a screenshot of Tim looking good, because I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm going to have to look for it.
You should follow Homan Podcast on Twitter, and you'll find one right at the top.
What's Homan Podcast?
That's what we're here for, Jordan. We've been recording these the whole time,
Oh man, in my senile old age, I just can't quite understand what's going on here. So that's interesting. I'll have to check out our Twitter feed. Obviously, I don't do that very often. So, All right. Well, that's exciting. Do you have any other opening things you want to say?
Lordy, I thought that was enough.
I
watched VOMO, for crying out loud.
What else is there to say? Well, what else we can talk about is episode 198, Lips and Freudian Slips. This one was written by Kim Flagg. That's Flagg with two G's, Adam. 2 G's.
Yeah, not two E's, though.
Easy G, GZE. Tim's First Car was the last one that Kim Flagg did. Kim Flagg. Wow, it seems like it should be Kim Flagg's for some reason. I think those are the only 2 episodes that she did.
Okay.
Tim's First Car, is that the dumpster one?
Yep.
Okay.
Not
Junkyard, sorry. It was a dumpster episode.
This is quite an episode so far for you.
let's run it back. You said we're doing it live, and I got nervous. All right, aired
That's all right.
May 4th. May the 4th be with you, Adam.
Yeah,
1998.
Yeah.
Trivia. I got 2 pieces of trivia.
Okay, I don't know these, so I'm gonna be really excited for it.
I think you maybe mentioned this one already earlier in the run, but this is the only episode of the show that's directed by Tim Allen.
Okay, see, I missed that. I guess it's the end of the show. They're just letting whoever wants to direct an episode do it. I noticed it had some really great directorial touches. So.
Oh, well, I'm glad you noted them, because I can't wait to talk about them. And then, obviously, the title reference is the World War II warning posters about spies and secret information. Loose lips sink ships.
I did not actually know where that came from.
Oh, really?
I knew this. I knew the saying, so I guess that is kind of interesting to me.
Okay. I'd like to see a poster of that. I know the saying, I know where it comes from, but I don't know if I've seen a poster.
Well, go ahead and look at it.
I'm going to be doing some research after
it's on
this
our Twitter.
episode. Isn't everything? Adam, alternative titles. I told you I struggled so much. Either I'm just phoning it in because we've got about 5, 6 episodes left, or I couldn't think of anything because I've got 2.
I got 5, but they're bad.
Okay. I'll let you do a couple back to back. I'll tell you which one's better out of the first 2.
I think I've done this one before. Farrah, pissed off.
You've done that one before?
I feel like I've done it before.
No way.
Okay, all right. So there's that one. And then this is in reference to Tim's outfit in the beginning. Timbo, First Blood. He's got he looks like Rambo kind of.
He does, yeah. He's got the full army gear on, camouflage. Yeah. All right, how would I throw one in here for you? How'd you like that?
How about it?
All right, how about Thesis in Pieces?
That's pretty good. Here's mine. Thesis, Christ.
Oh, the Messiah Thesis. Interesting.
Yes, indeed.
King Thesis. All right, so my second one is Psyching Yourself Out.
Hanover, I barely know her. Yeah, I know. Sucks.
No wonder you got 5.
Yeah, hey. It's a numbers game for me.
Yep. I don't have any more.
Oh, you're done. I forgot.
Yeah, I just had my 2 quality ones.
Yeah, quality questionable. Last one for me. Chili con carne with a K.
That's good. I like that one.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much.
That's the best out of the 7 we got there. Chili con carne.
What about Thesis Christ?
I'll take Thesis in Pieces, please. For 200. All right. We're gonna do
Jeopardy's back, Jordan.
Yeah, I love Jeopardy, so maybe that's something we're gonna do. All right. On Tool Time. Tim shot someone with a crossbow. That's the implication, at least, because we're
in media race. It's already happened.
That happened back-to-back episodes, I think, right? They did that last episode, too?
I like it sometimes.
Going to the well too much, huh?
Didn't like anything about this scene, so...
Get used to it, man. All right, Tim and Al are dressed in military garb. You mentioned this in your Rambo, Timbo title. It is not the salute to the military, though. It's the salute to men, so that threw me a little bit.
Yeah, okay. This scene is... horribly written.
It's bonkers.
It's one of the rare scenes where I just noticed the writing was bad because it jumps around. There are so many different ideas and things going on. Why are they dressed like this? Okay, I should be saving all this for the end. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just getting worked up a little bit here.
I know.
I like it. Heidi has a book, and she's also dressed quite scantily, you could say. Whereas Tim...
And she's posed weird, yeah.
Tim and Al are dressed in military garb. She's dressed in
I wrote Jungle Woman?
Yeah, that's a good one. Jungle Woman men's fantasy clothes. How about that?
Yeah, which is one of your top Google searches.
Don't look at my history, man. It must be... I must have that watch you're talking about. They're stealing my information.
You're sharing your screen all the time.
They bring out the authors of the said book that we mentioned... and they're going to do a man test. You're going to have more information about these authors. Do you want to give it now?
Not much more. Brandt von Hoffman, Todd von Hoffman, real authors, seemingly brothers. One of them, Todd, acted in some Police Academy movies, and they wrote a series of books called The Big Damn Book of Sheer Manliness. And I don't care about this sort of masculine BS stuff, so I didn't do much more research than that. But it seems like Amazon says surveys things of stereotypical interest to men, including sports, dogs, cards, fishing, airplanes, guns, and John Wayne. So I don't know. I'm not interested in that.
Every
I'm staying away from
loves
it. And
dogs.
I thought these guys stunk. So
Yeah, they're rough.
yeah, that's a weird one. Like
dogs.
I don't know.
I know it's man's best friend, but come on now.
I would put beef jerky in there before dogs.
Yeah, that was quite a strange thing. I would say, is this like the strangest cameo that they've had? Like,
Well, it
doesn't really fit in as well.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yeah.
as anything I can remember.
This scene is, returning to my point, this scene is so weird because they have these authors come out and, like, they don't really talk about the book, and they immediately jump into, like, a testosterone quiz. Mm-hmm. But then they jump to a chili cook-off.
So the cook-off is supposed to test, like, how hot you can take it, how spicy.
I guess.
But they don't even really do that because they're talking about toning it down a little bit.
And they're like, eat it with a saltine if it's too hot, and it's all so scattered. It's honestly like, let's just finish the scene. Okay, Heidi, you finish the scene. Tell about Heidi. Tell about Heidi's mischievous move.
Why wasn't that an alternative title? All right, they do a man test, like you said. They say like man's best friend, manliest movie, manliest meal. That's where they bring in the chili. Apparently, the manliest meal in the world is chili. I would have thought it was like steak.
Yeah, I would put like a porterhouse, mashed potatoes, a beer, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Chili is fine, but
yeah. All right, so it's time to make the chili. They go through that whole process. Heidi drops something on the ground because they're like, I don't know if they're mocking her. I forget what they do, but she doesn't take kindly to it.
Tim makes her mad. He says something condescending.
Tim makes her mad by making her wear this outfit on television. And so she drops something on the ground and she throws in like a ton of hot peppers into the chili.
Yeah.
And they really pay the price.
It went from 3 alarm to 8 alarm, and boy, are those guys, they're sweating because that chili is too darn hot.
Woo!
It's crazy. This scene is nuts. So like you got the guys dressed like military men for no real reason other than it's Man Week, which by the way is basically every week on Tool Time. Let's be real. You got Heidi as this jungle woman. You have these authors come out and like they're bad. Like they're bad actors. You jump into this testosterone quiz. One of them hits on Heidi. You get like a trans joke from Tim.
They're hitting all the
Tim makes Heidi mad. Heidi puts chili in. It's just it's wild and it's crazy in the worst possible way. It was really a sight to behold.
Wow, it was terrible. It's the feminist commissar did not get her hands into this opening scene.
No,
or maybe they did because Heidi gets the last laugh.
She does, but I wish the commissar would have gotten her hands more into this opening scene because I think it could have used. Wasn't this written by a woman?
Kim Flagg. I mean, the writer's room. Maybe it's not necessarily her
Yeah,
idea.
it's probably like one woman and then like 10 guys just like shouting at her, making her change it. No, put her in a jungle outfit. All right, next scene. Wow, that was a doozy.
Yeah, it was.
Home. Brad apparently doesn't want to go to the gym to do leg presses, so he's pressing books with his legs for physical therapy in rehabilitation for soccer. Tim comes in, Brad asks his dad to lean on him, give him more weight. Jill comes in, and I think this is a little bit what, which one of our listeners said that, like, Jill is needlessly mean to Tim, and it's just, like, awkward. I can't remember who said it.
I don't remember
but it was like when we were asking for hot takes, and he was like, but Jill comes in and says, "What is this jerks du soleil?" Just like, what makes these guys jerks? It's like
just
weird.
Working out.
Just weird. She handed in her thesis. Now she has to defend it. I bring kind of a special sort of.
It's about time. We've about 200 episodes in, and you can finally bring in some sort of special comment.
Yeah,
here.
I have kind of some specialty. I didn't defend a thesis, but I could have, and I know a lot of people that did. Let me just start off by saying...
Wait. That statement is ridiculous. I didn't defend a thesis, but I could have, and I know a lot of people who did.
Look,
That's
I had the option.
You sound like a politician.
I could have I had the option. I could either take it.
A lot of people are saying I could have defended the best thesis.
It's very Trumpish, yeah. I had the option. I could have taken an exam, or I could have written and defended a thesis. I took the exam, which I regret. It was a lot harder than I think a thesis. The point being, thesis defense is kind of a joke.
Okay.
You wrote it. You go in. They'll ask you some softball questions. All you really have to do is sound confident. They will suggest some changes. You'll make the changes. You'll send it back. It's not anything to sweat. It really, really isn't, especially for a master's. PhD may be a different thing. Mark is filming a family documentary for school, and then Gregory arrives.
Oh, a new character. We needed some new blood in the show, and Gregory, boy, is he bringing it up a notch.
Yeah? He's another film student. I wrote, this is kind of a busy opening scene. We've had like 4 people come to the door in this opening scene. Another sign that this episode is not very well written. Just like, ding dong, ding dong.
Everybody arrives at the same time.
Gregory comes in, and I don't know what this guy's deal is. He's like, I guess...
Quite nervous, neurotic.
Yeah, but they're trying to give him all these like one-liners that suck.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like 90s kind of smart kid humor.
But not the smart kid. Like, smart. Let's be fair to Smart Kid. Smart Kid was much better. Or Smart Guy.
I was gonna say, do you think the show is called Smart Kid? TJ Mowry is 10 times better than this kid Gregory. Gregory, he's annoying. He's played by he's played by Kyle Sabihi. I knew I'd recognize this kid from something, and I think that you like one of the movies he was in. He was in Analyze This and Analyze That as Michael Sobel, and I bet you like those movies.
Yeah, I did. It's been a long time, though, so maybe they don't quite age as well. But yeah, I enjoyed... Yeah. Which one's the first one? Analyze This, I think?
Yeah, and then Analyze That.
I like Billy Crystal. Sue me.
He's Billy Crystal's son. He's 24 credits to his name. Last appeared in American Dream. Also in Joan of Arcadia. And Seventh Heaven. So, yeah, this kid, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's his fault. It's the writing, but it kind of sucks. The scene ends with him, they're like, do you want to stay over for dinner? And he's like, I don't masticate in public.
Oh, man.
Which I'm going to ignore the Tim thing for a second.
Why would you?
Because I want to really think about this. If this kid doesn't eat in front of people, how's he getting by? What's he do at school?
We see later in this episode he's eating with his family.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Tim makes a masturbation joke, and then that's it.
So. 2 scenes in, and I didn't want to keep going.
0 for 2. Will we go 0 for however many scenes there are in this episode?
I think we might. All right.
Maybe.
Later, it's time to screen the films at school. The whole family is there, Brad very unwillingly. A member of the committee for Jill's thesis is there, so that's interesting. He's got a terrible comb-over. You know, Brad and Tim in this episode, they're kind of buddies, and they make lots of jokes with each other, which is good, because this used to be Brad and Randy, and Brad hasn't had anyone to make jokes with, and Mark is just really not the person to fill that role.
Oh, you don't think Mark's funny?
You know, he makes a joke earlier in the scene with Brad, and it just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
No. Dr. Hanover sees Jill, comes over to chat. He's with his daughter, but they also spot Gregory across the room, and Jill says some quite unkind words.
Jill's such a moron.
She's she's a giant idiot
in
this episode.
Stupid. Yeah.
She says some mean things, and it turns out it's Dr. Hanover's stepson.
She maybe is not equipped for the job that she is training for.
I mean, since the first few episodes, she's kind of been nosy, hasn't really been able to keep a secret.
I know.
It's tough.
It's tough, Jordan.
It's tough. Brad and Tim laugh at Jill putting her foot in her mouth. It's time to show the documentaries, and Gregory's plays first, and really the theme is he doesn't fit into his family. I guess.
This kid wouldn't fit in anywhere.
It's weird because he talks about, I think his family is like too smart, and the way that he talks and stuff.
They want, he's like talking in elevated. I mean, it's
using
jumbled.
words like masticate.
That's true. Yeah.
So it doesn't quite fit. Final film is Mark's. I don't know if you heard this, but Mark is a very promising student. Did you hear that?
Well, she asked Mark to handle the projector.
Yeah.
So I knew he was kind of a favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she says that. So Mark's got quite the expectations to live up to here. Jill shakes Tim awake, and he thinks he's on Tool time. Maybe the only time I laughed in this episode.
Yeah, it didn't do it for me, but I'm glad you had some fun.
Yeah, I'm glad. Because it's not going to happen anymore. Sad moment, we see Randy.
We did? Where?
Well, Mark's film is playing, and there's like a picture of all of them, including Randy.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, it was tough. Things are not always as they seem, Mark says, and that's because Mark has caught some footage, behind-the-scenes footage of like Brad using silverware to scratch his back and do other gross things and then putting it away.
Okay, what's this spoon joke?
I think it's just like he uses a spoon to do something gross and then puts it back in the drawer.
Yeah, but what is it? Because they cut away from it, everybody sees it, and Brad's like real satisfied with it. Like, what's he doing with the spoon?
Oh, you're saying why is he so satisfied by it?
No, I'm saying what does he do with the spoon?
Oh, it looks like he scratched his back.
No, that's a fork.
Oh, there's a second thing going on.
Yeah, he uses a fork to scratch his back, and then he says, wait till you see what I do with the spoon. Camera cuts away, they show what he does with the spoon, and then he looks on very satisfied. So, like, I mean, I don't even want to speculate what he's doing with the spoon, but it's very, very gross.
A two girls, one cup situation?
I mean, I'm thinking he's shoving that spoon up his ass. I mean, I gotta say it. I think that's what he's doing. I'm sorry.
Maybe
I didn't want to
say
say
itching
it.
his butt or something, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's... They don't tell you, so...
Oh,
yeah.
man. Yeah, I guess I kind of forgot about that part of the joke. Yeah, it's a bit strange. We move on to a later scene, and Jill is complaining about... Guess who? Dr. Hanover calls him a pompous jackass, makes fun of his comb-over. It's not great. And Tim, for Jill, checks out Dr. Hanover to see like his reaction, and Dr. Hanover's gone, so that's good.
Yeah.
Jill says to Tim, like, do it subtly, and he like rocks his chair back a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know. If we're going for chuckles, that's kind of a chuckle for me.
Okay.
Bad news for Jill. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Mark says at the end, well, this is the typical American family. We're all in trouble. Gets a pretty good ovation, and then that's the end of the scene. Mark's such a piece of shit, Jordan.
Yeah, he really is. Like,
because he knows that, like, he knows this kid is Jill's thesis advisor. He has to.
Even if he doesn't, like, just throwing your parents under the bus like that.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Mark. And he does not, in this episode, nobody comes down on him at all.
No.
He's just like,
Jill does for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is bad. Mark also does like an explosion at the start of this episode. He can't help himself with these transitions. If I were to give Mark some advice for his filmmaking career, he needs to cool down on those transitions, because that ain't it.
That's not gonna last. All right, next scene.
Home. Jill's on the phone, frantically calling Dr. Hanover. Brad wants to use the phone. Jill says, why can't you? And it's because he's downloading pornography on it, I guess is the joke.
Is that back-to-back episodes of porn jokes?
Yeah, it's the late 90s, and we're all... It's a brave new world on the internet, and
Jeez.
Brad is foraging his own way.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to apologize to the doctor, Dr. Hanover. She's mad at Mark. He says he's sorry. That's about it with that.
Did you see this where Brad is like miming something to Mark?
Yeah, what is it though?
I have no idea.
This episode
I actually
is
went
so
back and
weird.
rewatched it, and I could not figure out what was going on.
It's like they have like less time to film this or something, and they didn't want to like figure stuff out because there's just a lot of like weird threads. Phone's ringing. Is Gregory on the phone, or does Gregory show up?
Jill gets a hold of Gregory on the phone.
Oh, Jill gets a hold of Gregory. He talks. He says maybe he didn't see it. Maybe Dr. Hanover didn't see it.
He got paged a couple times during the view. So,
which is like, this guy's not a real doctor, you know. Like he's not getting paged to like go in and do medical procedures. Just an FYI.
Is that not how that works?
I mean, I know we all had pagers back then, but like I don't know. I think that they were maybe thinking of it as like an actual doctor
Like an
getting paged away. Yeah,
like a surgeon.
Yeah, exactly.
Come quick. Yeah. Thesis time. It's time to defend her thesis. Jill is there with the other members, but Dr. Hanover is late. Boy, they're really building on the anticipation here. We're all just wondering.
Well, Jill arrives late to her own thesis defense, which again,
not great.
This is not good stuff. Yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot in a lot of ways here.
Dr. Hanover got a haircut, so no comb over. Gotta say, he looks way better. I don't know why he didn't just do this to begin with.
Yeah, I know.
All right. They think the thesis is solid, but there's a couple things they want to... things were a hair off. So there's a lot of like hair jokes here, and very distracting to Jill.
So many. So many. It's all hair jokes.
They drop in to some of the questions. Jill defends them, and then accidentally calls Dr. Hanover Dr. Comeover.
So stupid.
Jill, very inept in the scene.
I hate this kind of humor. This is like bad sitcom humor.
It's really lazy.
Where it's like, Dr. Comeover. There's just like so stupid. It's so removed from reality. I cannot stand it.
It's a bad scene. Is that over 5 now? Yeah,
Hanover calls her thesis. Also, like, this thesis defense scene is like, she can't defend anything. Like, they aren't pressing her at all. Like, they say, like, it's solid. Can you explain this? And she just, like, can't do it. He calls it superficial, which is, like, admittedly because he is frustrated, we find out later on. But, like, he says, can you defend these things? And she's like, I don't know. Well, it's like, that's the wrong answer. You need to be able to. Like, that's what this is. It's a defense. So you need to at least try. It's not because, like, I mean, it is partially because of what she said, but, like, she's ill-equipped to handle this entire situation. It's wild. Home. I'm getting worked up, Jordan.
I know.
This episode sucks. Jill's home. Tim's cooking. She says, I was raked over the coals. It's like, no, you weren't. You really were not raked over the coals. You were not prepared. She has to rework thesis by Friday. She's going to go back in. We cut to later. Brad's helping Jill with her thesis. She's kind of doing a second draft, trying to incorporate the feedback that she got during the defense.
What kind of help do you think Brad's providing here?
Going to get pages from the printer after they are done.
Like, yeah, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot here.
No. Man, it's, you know what it is? I think it's about time to play a clip here, Jordan. We're heading to the fence.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we got it. We got to do some clips here, Jordan.
Wilson?
Come to me, my lovely little creature of the night.
What, are you drunk?
Oh, no, Jill. I was talking to the chiroptera, which I'm trying to attract with the sounds on this tape recorder.
What's that?
It's a small device for recording tapes.
No, I mean the other thing.
Oh, the chiroptera. Well, that's a bat. I saw one swooping around here. I'm trying to get her to nest in my eaves.
I was just wondering what you thought of my thesis.
Oh, yes, the thesis, yes. Well, that was a very interesting rewrite. I thought your use of comparative symbolism had a certain textural resonance that really...
You think it blows?
Like a nor'easter. You know, to tell you the truth, Jill, I actually preferred the original version.
So did I. But Dr. Hanover hated it, and I have to make these changes, whether I believe in them or not.
You know, your situation reminds me of Walking Naked.
Good night, Wilson.
No, Jill. Walking Naked is a play I wrote in college. It's the saga of an Aztec warrior who finds himself in New Jersey.
Ah, primitive man adapts to modern society.
No. It's about a guy who loses his clothes in Newark. And funny stuff happens to it.
So, no, wait, what does this have to do with my thesis?
Well, my drama department wanted me to rewrite my play, but I was very passionate about Walking Naked.
So you refused to make any of the changes?
No, quite the opposite. I caved in, rewrote the whole play. It was a big success.
You must have been thrilled.
No, I felt terrible, because I compromised the integrity of the play.
So you think that I should just stick to what I wrote originally?
You know, Jill, your name is going to be on that thesis forever. Shouldn't it represent something that you truly believe in?
Yes, it should. given me a lot to think about. Thank you, Wilson. You're always so sensible.
Well, it's my pleasure. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an old brown bat to seduce.
Outside, Jill comes to see Wilson, and Wilson is trying to catch a bat. Jill wants some feedback on her thesis, and he also thinks it's not very good. He preferred the updated version he thinks is not very good. He preferred the original version. Wilson tries to, share an experience from his past where he had a play that he wrote and the drama department wanted him to rewrite it, and he caved in, and it worked out really well, but he felt terrible because he compromised the integrity of his play. So the message is stand up for what you believe in, and I'm wondering, what the hell are we talking about?
Yeah, I kind of like the reason I wanted to play a clip here was because I kind of like blanked out during the advice section, and I didn't even really get what he was talking about. That's also not the point of this episode.
Exactly,
by the way.
Does not
it's like,
work at all.
It's like stand up for what you believe in. I mean, you need to be able to defend like what you believe in the first place, and like also. That's sort of the nature of a thesis. Is like you're gonna have to make changes depending on like what people tell you. It's sort of a collaborative thing. So yeah, this episode is
also it's kind of
bizarre.
wild because like, so Wilson had to change his play. I guess we don't get the extent of that play, but like if it was a success, wouldn't he be excited about that? I don't. It's just like, are we supposed to assume that if anyone gives you any critical feedback, you just ignore it?
Sounds like today's youth, if you know what I'm saying.
Snowflakes.
Everybody's too dang sensitive.
It's just stupid and doesn't make sense and it doesn't work.
It's bad. Defense. Part 2. Jill has another meeting with Dr. Hanover. He admits he was overly critical of her work because he heard what she said during the video. He also tells her that, like, you couldn't really defend your work, which is a problem, and that maybe she was being a little bit sensitive. They seem to figure it all out. He puts on a wig and says, hey, does this look pretty good? And then Jill makes a joke, and he realizes, I guess I just gotta go bald. Thoughts?
The way that you said that, like how silly it was not how the scene tried to portray itself as well, I don't think.
I know, but it's so stupid and self-serious that I couldn't bear it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. At home, Tim, Greg, Mark.
So with that, next scene.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, yeah. Okay, they come to an agreement pretty quickly. He lets bygones be bygones. I guess he's a professional. Dr. Hanover seems like a pretty affable guy, so it makes me, I don't know, like, it just makes me think about Gregory and their relationship and how it's kind of surprising that they don't get along that well, because he just seems like a pretty nice dude. I don't know.
Jordan, Dr. Gregory is played by Peter Michael Goetz, best known for...
Dr. Gregory?
Dr. Hanover is played by Peter Michael Goetz. I mean, Gregory's going to be a doctor, too. He's obviously heading down that road. Best known for Father of the Bride Part 2, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Glory, and My Girl. 90 credits to his name. Most recently appeared in A Violent Separation. He was in an episode of the Rush Hour TV show. And he did some Gilmore Girls, The West Wing, The Practice. This guy's been around. He's okay. I think he's given really bad material.
Yeah, I think he's fine. What I wouldn't give to be talking about Rush Hour again.
No problem. Just Rush Hour. You got any eel? Sure. Yeah.
Sure. All right. Now can I go to the next scene?
Yeah.
At home, Tim, Greg, Mark, the new trio. Dr. Hanover loved
the new trio. If that's the case, then we will end this podcast prior to our expected date, because I could not deal with that.
I didn't do a good job of writing down what happens in this scene, because I think by this point I was quite out on this episode.
Okay,
can I tell you what I have, and then you can really fill it out, because this is probably not all what happened. We learned that Dr. Hanover loved the thesis after all, and Gregory is more worried about himself and what his future is going to look like.
Yeah, Gregory just talks a whole bunch, and he's worried about his future, and then Tim makes a joke like maybe you could replace Al on Tool Time.
Yeah, how do you look in flannel or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. This episode begins ends just as it begins, with a whimper and a scratching of the head and a massaging of the temples. And that's Loose Lips and Freudian Slips, a.k.a. Chili Con Carne. Man, Richard Karn has not had anything to do this season.
Poor guy.
It's wild.
It is weird.
Let's head on down to Castle's Corner. I'm probably going to just run the car into a pole after this episode because it was brutal.
I don't think we'll have to stay long. How about that?
Jordan, Lowe's?
Everything.
Yeah.
What? I did tell you I laughed once. Mm-hmm. Where was that? Tim said something, right?
Tim woke up from a dream.
Fell asleep and was startled awake and
yeah,
yelled something about tool time. Other than that, yeah, it's just not funny. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The opening scene is stupid. Another episode built around Mark for a little bit, and then Jill for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jill just she doesn't act like a competent adult, basically.
No.
Which is tough.
Yep.
Tough for her character. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I just didn't like this episode at all. It's honestly, I didn't expect it, but probably one of the worst 5 episodes we ever have watched.
Shockingly, I agree with you. I wouldn't have expected it either. It was really, really horrible. I don't have any highs. I didn't like anything about this, and I'm not going to try to find anything to like.
Usually the episodes that are like in the worst 5, they have some sort of weird gimmick. There's no.
This episode was unpleasant to watch. Mm-hmm. I found it unpleasant. Yeah, like it was grating. You're right. There was no gimmick. I mean, Lowe's. You just heard it. Like the opening scene is baffling. Like Jill's actions are perplexing and kind of frustrating. The jokes are bad. Mark faces no repercussions for what has happened. I mean, it's just all really, really bad. I didn't laugh once. I don't like Gregory. We will get more Dr. Hanover. Hopefully, we don't get any more Gregory with him. But yeah, this is one of the worst episodes we've ever covered, and yeah, just annoying. I just found it kind of annoying. Everybody was just bugging me. So that's that.
All right. Well,
winding it down here on Home and Podcast. Everybody's bugging me. I hated it.
Yeah, it's just
wow.
Man, it's a terrible episode. All right.
It really is.
If you want to reach out to us, go to thehomeandpodcast.com or something else. I don't know what I even said. Thehomeandpodcast.com.
There are some days where your mouth just doesn't work as well as others.
My brain is mush, honestly, after this week. Too much going on.
Yeah, that's all right.
So you know how to reach out to us. I did want to mention on YouTube we had a comment about a much more pleasant time in our history when we were talking about the sexiest home improvement episodes. Yeah, buddy. Do you remember that?
I remember, yeah.
Where we were on video and everything. Everybody could see our mugs.
Yeah.
This comment comes from Western Massachusetts Elevators. And he or
Wait, an elevator's leaving? Man,
this is like the Twilight Zone.
YouTube's getting weird.
Yeah, it's called the Internet of Things, and it's getting a little creepy.
I tell you what, yeah.
All right, so this is in reference to like what episodes or moments we thought were the like hottest in home improvement history. He or she says season 7's Taking Jill for Granted should have been on that list, which is the episode where
that's Ian, right?
Ian part 2, where he actually kisses Jill. We mentioned, I don't even know if we covered it at the time, but we did mention.
I don't think we'd covered it at that time.
Maybe
we covered
not.
The first one.
We did put the first one on the list, so
yeah,
we're right with you. Western Massachusetts Elevators.
Yeah, Ian's a hunk and a heartthrob, and you know this episode could have used Ian to come in and punch Gregory in the face.
Yeah, couldn't we get an episode where Jill's like trying her private practice, and in comes Ian and.
Another thing about this episode, and I know we already passed it, but like, it's so needlessly convoluted that it's like it must have been hard to write. Like, you know, like as writers of a sitcom, you can make things so much more simple than this, and people will enjoy it. Like, I don't know, make it so that there's like a stray cat in the house or something. Like, just it's a sitcom. I don't need all these ins and outs and plot lines and stupid jokes. Like, I guess as the show goes on, longer and longer, things become more and more complex and convoluted. But man, this one, it's just like, keep it simple. That's what people want out of home improvement. They don't want anything more than that.
It's tough too, because I feel like every time they go to like this Jill career well, it just does not work out well. So
no, it's not. I think that in hindsight, what they probably should have done, and I know it's hard to do, but they should have yada 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 her like in school and like somehow get her practicing faster. Like have her actually like seeing patients and stuff, because like you can mine humor from that, and that probably would have been better. But this like student school stuff it just hasn't been effective. It really hasn't.
It's been happening since season 1 too.
I know, yeah. So yeah.
All right, Adam. I don't have anything else to share from YouTube. We did get some spam, so I wasn't going to share that. Somebody was quite lonely from the looks of it.
Oh, but, yikes! That's too bad. I never want to hear that.
What's going on Twitter?
Twitter is a place to be. Danny J posted a picture of her by a waterfall and says, "If you see me by this waterfall in Minnesota, ask me about my home and podcast tank." And, I like seeing that. Mm-hmm. Buy our merch on Redbubble. It looks like a nice tank top, real high quality, good stuff. So,
worth every penny.
Worth every penny. Couple polls. Are you hashtag Team Harry or hashtag Team Dolores? 17 total votes.
17 votes. That's how nobody wants to choose.
35.3% said Dolores, 64.7% said Harry. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
What are you, hashtag Team Harry or hashtag Team Dolores?
I guess Harry.
Yeah, barely. He's annoying.
Yeah, it's by a hair.
Yeah, by a Harry. Mm-hmm. In the past year, how many times have you been inside a hardware store? 39 total votes.
Does Home Depot count?
That was a question that came up, and I would say yes, it does. The options were 0, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 plus. What do you think won out here, Jordan?
I'm gonna say 5 plus. People got to do stuff on their house.
It did. 5 plus, 43.6%. 3 to 4, 23.1%. 0, 20.5%, and 1 to 2, 12.8%. So,
you gotta paint, there's all sorts of stuff going
on. Brett Hetherington said, been a homeowner for just over a year now and had a few projects to take care of. Brag.
Amen.
Braggart. Sarah Shortstuff says, as in like Harry's, well, I mean, not like actually Harry's, but yeah, as in a hardware store. She's been to Lowe's. She wouldn't consider that the same thing. I would consider Lowe's a hardware store. Jordan.
I mean, what are the are we saying like non-chain basically? Because Harry's is a hardware. Harry's, Home Depot and Lowe's.
Harry's is a hardware and Home Depot and Lowe's. They're all hardware stores. I've probably been in. We live right across the street from one, and since we moved, I've probably been in one 5+ times. So, yeah.
Yeah. Convenient. This is why Harry's is going under.
That's true. Well, it's an Ace Hardware, which I guess is and then, a couple more things here. My book is out.
Oh, is it?
It's out. And that's, we mentioned that a couple months ago, probably.
Should we share now our idea for the Drac is Back Spooktacular?
Yeah, Drac is Back Spooktacular. Good. Take the Jordan, take the wheel. Take it from my hands.
Wheel. Yeah, I'll take it. So,
this is kind of your passion project, your side hustle.
Don't act like you weren't so excited to talk about it.
Sure.
All right, so Home Improvement is a show that loves Halloween, and I think both you and I have a special place in our heart for Halloween as well. So we wanted to do something special, especially since the timing aligned with the end of our podcast. So the Drac is Back Halloween special will probably feature lots of special guests like Drac, but also our plan is to do something a little spooky. We're going to read a spooky story, and then we're also going to read an excerpt from Adam's new book, which is also a spooky story. So you're going to get 2 spooky stories. We can't read all of Adam's book, but you can get a taste of it. And it's going to be fun. We're going to have some Halloween hijinks going on. So that is the Spooktacular.
That will be after our initial podcast run, right? Or do you want to release that before?
It's going to be on Halloween. That's when
it's going to be on Halloween. Okay.
That's when it's going to be released, Halloween.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we'll talk more about my book. In the meantime, if you want to check it out, I pinned it on our Twitter. It's called Peace on Earth. It's a Christmas horror book. It's about 90 pages, very short, Kindle hardcover. I'd love it if you were to buy it or even just review it, one or the other. I don't even care if you read it, just review it, positively, of course. But yeah, that is available now.
We'll include a link to it in the show notes.
We definitely will. And I think I had one more. Oh, and then this is just something I'm going to continue to say throughout until we're done. As we near our series and summation episode, that's sort of where we're tying a bow on everything. Send us any home improvement questions, any rankings or lists you want us to do, talk about favorite memories of home improvement, favorite memories of our podcast, really anything you want us to talk about before we're done. So thus far, we've heard from a few people, but it'd be great to get some more and really fill up that final mailbag. So yeah, just anything you want to share, talk about, discuss, rank, etc. Tweet at us, DM us on Twitter, email homeandpodcast@gmail.com. But we got about a month left, give or take. So yeah, let us know if there's anything you want to share with us. So that's that.
Hard to believe. All right.
But when you watch episodes like this one, makes it feel a little bit.
It makes me much more excited for the Spooktacular. I'll tell you that.
That's true. It softens the blow. But what are we covering next week, Jordan?
Next week, Trouble a Brewin'.
Wow. And is that entire episode's based around Gregory, correct?
I hope not. Please
All right,
no.
Well, I have a feeling I think I know what that one's about. But hey, Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. And I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.